Hi Luxury Home Show, my name is Neha. Welcome to our country home in Surrey. Come on in.
You got me shaking, yeah, I feel the fever coming on. Boy, you know you're all out.
Well, welcome to the entrance of our home here at Spur Point. My family and I have been living here for about 3 years and using it as our country home. We predominantly spend the weeks and our days usually in London, but this is an amazing escape for us from the hustle and bustle of the city. There's two really main reasons why we decided to buy this home, and it was, one is the views. The views are absolutely stunning. We are based in a national park, the South Downs National Park, so we have unobstructed views whereby no one can build in front of us. And in fact, all the rooms in the house share the same view. So it's been absolutely amazing, and I'd love to show you more.
I tried to shake it, find a way to get you off my mind. Really tried to draw that.
So this is the kitchen, the heart of the home, most people's home, and likewise with ours. This is a classic small bone kitchen. We do have, as I mentioned, modern amenities here as well. So with the classic butler sink, we obviously have this amazing cooker tap. So you get filtered water, sparkling water, and then steaming hot water as well. However, we did incorporate some natural materials as well. So you can see there's like bronze here, but you also have natural wood that's kind of surrounding this tree. By background, I am born in India, raised between India and the States, and now have been living in London for the last about 12 years. So what was really important to us is to bring a classic yet modern feel. So we did use throughout the home some antiques as well as some modern pieces. You'll see throughout the home, we have art and furniture from different centuries and different pieces from around the world. We kind of kept to a quartz worktop. Reason being is, enjoying food from all different types of cuisines, especially with turmeric being Indian, it's really important to have something that's very hard wearing. So for us, that was very important. But then again, bringing back the natural materials like having the wood here and the copper. And then, again, talking about the modern conveniences, coming from America as well, being raised there, we're always used to things that are a little bit bigger than here in the UK. And so, this fridge, having a sub-zero fridge, and with the family too, gives us plenty of space, and especially when we're entertaining. We also have this amazing wine cooler, which obviously cools white wines, but also champagne, and then red wines as well. We decided to have 2 ovens, especially hosting, whether it's Diwali or Thanksgiving or Christmas. So we have, a chef's kitchen in the back. So when we want to have a nice dinner party and want to keep everything here clean and have the chef preparing food, we do have a kitchen in the back. But when it's family celebrations and everyone's kind of tucking in to cook, we do have this amazing Wolf oven, as well as another Wolf oven in the chef's kitchen, but then also this Wolf microwave as well. Moving on, we also incorporated a Bora worktop, and what we did here that was quite special is we had gas, but also induction. And then as you can see, we don't have any vents on the ceilings. In fact, we have the extractors built in here. So again, the view, is unobstructed, and everything kind of filters back in when you're cooking. I keep bringing back my Indian roots, but when you make, some handmade rotis, etc., the family prefers to use the gas. Both of them work equally as good as another. Other, kind of more classic elements that we did incorporate as well in the shaker style kitchen is the pocket doors that open into our bread pantry, kind of breakfast area. So, and obviously all the glasses for the home, but then, on the other side and making sure aesthetically it all works together, we did a coffee station here and another pocket door. So in the evenings, when we want everything to look nice and tidy, we just kind of close these and and the whole kitchen kind of comes together and looks tidy. In order to access the Bora and the gas, we do have this amazing banquette seating, which works absolutely lovely for the children. And when you want to just pile people in for breakfast or any other meal. And for Christmas, all the kids sit here and we sit in the dining room. But anyways, this banquette seating actually can get removed so you can access everything inside as well. So this is our family room. It's right next to the kitchen. It works really well for us because as we're preparing breakfast or having a meal, the children are able to really, relax, put their feet up or jump on the sofas at times. It's a very comfortable space. We have vaulted ceilings here with this amazing kind of antique chandelier. As you can see, the trees outside mimic the trees, and these are real trees, both of them. Inside, they are a labor of love, I have to say, by us and the gardeners. It's definitely, it takes a village to keep these trees alive in the house, especially because we like to keep the house quite warm. The sofa here, as you can see, a Minotti sofa. We had it specially designed for this room. Again, to give it a cozy, comfy feel. So we placed a Berber rug here as well. We have this amazing kind of seating area, which is a Porta Romana stool. We do have a TV, a special TV, I'd like to say, because it is hidden unless you want to see it. And in fact, it does rotate. So when we're watching, a football game and, we want a quick bite to eat, we can definitely rotate it and it faces the kitchen. But then when you want to come back here and sit on a comfy sofa and lounge around to finish watching the game, it just rotates back. The best of it is that it actually goes away quite discreetly and it disappears. So if one was to come in, no one would even know that there would be a TV here at all. So this is the dining room, also known as the glass box. This is a 16-seater table. This is where we host parties, buffets, Christmas, Diwali, name it, we've done it. Interesting fact is that, we did source this table locally, and they were made by local craftsmen as well. Within this room, the idea was to create a light and airy space, despite it being a formal dining room. So we did raise the ceilings here. And what else we did was we created this glass box that we say by using cradle doors. So these cradle doors also open and close with magnets at the bottom. So following, the dining room, we kind of get into our more formal drawing room here. So as we continue to see in the house that we have a mix of classics and modern, one key classic, especially in this room, is the 130-year-old Persian rug I'm standing on. This is something that we found, again, through an antique dealer. But we also wanted to create within the drawing room another more classic feel, such as the fireplace here. This is a 17th century Louis fireplace that we sourced from Paris. And so this actually makes, for us, this room quite classic in a way, yet still having some of the modern elements, such as, our art, which obviously is very personable, but also some of this joinery that we're moving on to here. As we talked about in the kitchen is a small bone kitchen, but what we also did was use small bone for the joinery here. So we created this little bar area. So when we do have guests, what we tend to do is, before dinner, start off having some nice drinks and cocktails here before we do move on for, the formal dining. But the joinery that was used here, as I said, was from small bone. So, again, it's natural woods. And then on the back, which is very special, we actually worked with a gentleman named Benjamin Raymond, who actually hand painted, him and his team, gold leaf, where you can see all of the gold, this kind of silver plasterwork. It's all hand done, and it's actually reminiscent in different parts of the house as well. We are very fond of animals, wildlife, and so we chose pieces. This is an artist, for example, from Singapore, another photographer here where the lion is. What the lion represents for us, in fact, we're a Sikh family, and Singh, S-I-N-G-H, means lion. And it's the middle name for my husband and my 2 boys. And so that's why you see a lion, a very fierce and prominent feature in this house here. Leading from the drawing room into what we call the boardroom, or what was the music room for the previous family, is essentially a space where my husband created on the other side of the house. Was so when he actually works from home, or decides to hold a strategy meeting or an event here, he can actually utilize this space, as you can see, with the VC. But also a table here that's removable, with seats. And this actually leads into then his office. So he's able to, focus and do what he needs to do despite the children being around or us having guests. So be here, but not be here, if that makes sense. Another great thing about this room is that the view is just spectacular. As I mentioned, most, if not all, of the rooms in this home does share a similar view. And if you are in a meeting and you're a little bored, you could just stare into space. So now we're coming back to the entrance, and 2 special pieces in the entrance. One is this drum. It's a 13th century Chinese drum, sourced from China, which we kind of use as, for all of our guests, use as a base for all of our guests to sign our Spur Point guest book. And then what we also have is this very special piece we sourced at an antique fair here in London, but made in Belgium. The date is a bit unknown, but it is at least about 60, 70 years old. And what I love about this so much is it really ties the home together, because it shows faces of, or the silhouettes, I should say, of a family. And so it's just a nice way to welcome everyone, because it really ties in with all the bronzes and those neutral colors I talked about earlier. So we have a separate toilet for the adults and a separate one for the kids, part of this kids' wing, because we didn't want, all the pee-pee and the poo-poos and whatever else they do all over our floor. So we kind of contain it all in one space. Actually, it offshoots onto the playground. So it's a nice area for the children to be in. And so we kind of have this like kids wing for them, if you will. Okay, great. So now let's head to the basement and see where all the fun happens. So let's go check out the cinema now. So this is our space that we created to have a little bit of London in the countryside. An idea that we thought was great at the time, but didn't work out so great, was having a little candy shop for the children and ourselves. But as the children got older, they were having a little too much candy. So we had to empty our candy shop, and this has now become a little bit of a games area. But we still do make fresh popcorn here with this popcorn machine. And then this space here is kind of where all the action happens and fun. After we have dinner, we tend to come downstairs, whether it's by ourselves or with friends, and have a couple of drinks and put up a movie for the children, whereby the children kind of sit on the sofas at the bottom and just relax and enjoy ourselves, or put the kids to bed and have a nice time, with your friends, with movie, music videos, what have you in the background. So again, we kind of wanted to make this, if those of you who are familiar with some of the private members clubs in London, kind of that Annabelle's feel, Arts Club feel, 5 Hertford Street feel, yet, still being able to have the children enjoy it as well. So what have we here? This is all custom built. This is obviously for alcohol. When you look behind here, we have quite a bit of alcohol, as you can see, but also we have an ice maker We have a dishwasher, we have a fridge, as you can see, plenty of storage for snacks, treats, glassware, and this is, like I said, a little bit of London in the countryside. We're moving into the spa area here. The spa area actually has two sections. So one section is the shower, so after or before you go into the pool or the steam room and the sauna room. And then the other section where we spend most of our time is actually this lap pool, which also turns into a pool for the children on the weekends. So the children thoroughly enjoy it, we thoroughly enjoy it, and it's great because the kids have an opportunity to, kind of use a pool indoors when the weather's not so great here, but then also we have another pool outdoors. So we do utilize this quite a bit, but then on those days where the kids aren't using the pool or we just want to go for a swim, my husband or I do laps in this lap pool here. And we do have one of the machines that are set up where you kind of swim against the current. As you can see here as well, all the work that's done on the walls here is actually hand painted again by Benjamin Raymond's team, who have done a spectacular job, just giving it all that, more of that relaxing, calm feel that we've been talking about, that's kind of reminiscing through the house. Maybe not in the cinema, but elsewhere. So now we're heading towards the gym. And on the way towards the gym, as you can see, we do have another toilet down here for use for anyone that's on this floor. And then behind that door, we have actually another utility room. So as we move into the gym here, it's one of my husband's favorite places in the house. It enables him to kind of de-stress and work out. But also what we decided to do here was create kind of a half rack here, half squat rack, have a treadmill, a rowing machine, a bike machine, but then we wanted it kind of a hotel feel. So we wanted it to feel like an upscale gym. All of our weights are basically bespoke. So they all have the spur point label or engraving on everything. So very specific to the house. But the other beauty about the gym is that if the kids are swimming in the pool, and your kids are old enough, of course, or anyone's in the pool, you can also kind of see right through and vice versa. So it's a nice little kind of, it's together, but not really. As well as being connected to the indoor pool, you're also connected to the outdoor pool. And when I usually work out or go for a run, especially if the weather's not great, what's better than having a view to run to? And so we can see the outdoor pool from here. Kids are playing outside. Anyone's doing anything outside, we can see them here too. So it's kind of a best of both worlds. The indoor, you get the outdoor. So now we're moving into our wine cellar. So as I mentioned, we are moving, so hence you don't see our wines or many of the wines here. And also many of them have been consumed, given that we do love to entertain. We just thought we didn't really need a seating area in here, given the cinema and that room is just down the hall. But as you can see, there's plenty of racks to have all your wines. We have spur point barrels here if you do decide to get some high chairs around here. And in here, actually, we do have a secret door. So this is what some people call a gun room, but we call it like a safe room. So God forbid, doomsday happens, you can actually put yourself in here and lock yourself up and spend some time. The only way I'll be able to open it is if you're interested in purchasing. And now we're here onto the landing and we'll be going into the principal bedroom first. There are 3 other bedrooms, including the master on this floor, including a linen closet as well as a utility. So here's the master, and this is my little piece of heaven here. What we love about it is, we have this amazing lounge area. where we can sit and kind of retire, if you will, at the end of the evening, grab a glass of vino or a Negroni or, whatever poison you may choose. I'd love to show you the view that's so special to our hearts. We see the whole property from here, the backside of the property at least. You see the tennis court, you see the pool, but then most importantly, what we talked about earlier were the unobstructed views of the South Downs National Park. And you can see the collection of the little villages. And because we're so high up, we get a bird's eye view of everything here. And it's actually especially nice to see at night when it's completely dark. And in fact, this area of the UK is one of the best areas for stargazing. Interesting fact I found out after we moved here. No light pollution, and what's really sweet is at night you can actually see cars, trucks, what have you, kind of winding through these roads and just like little specks of light. And so it's just, I don't know, for me it's really nice and special, especially when you live in a city and in that hustle and bustle day to day. What we do like is having hardwood floors, but also when you're waking up in the morning and kind of touching the floor is you don't want that hardness. You actually want something nice and soft. So what we decided to do is do kind of a mix of both. So as you can see here, we have stark rugs that are on this floor. And so we have stark woolen, all natural, no synthetic rugs that are on this floor. And then we have the wooden bases that are kind of surrounding it or framing it, if you will. Again, going back to what we were talking about, antiques, etc. Not so antique, but these two are Murano glass chandeliers from the 70s that we got from Italy. Here are, again, bases from a French antique market, and we just kind of revamped it with new shades. Again, going with neutrals generally in this room to kind of continue and create that calming space. And, of course, who doesn't like a fireplace in their bedroom, especially in those cold winter nights? And just propping your feet up here on this little poof is very nice. And so now we'll head into the wardrobe area. So a bit aggressive for the color, but it goes really well with this amazing Italian marble that we have. I wish I could pronounce it, but I can't. But it's kind of a paprika red we went with for all the wardrobes here. Have a simple chandelier, and then here have a little bit of a poof. So if you're putting on your shoes, or if you're putting socks on, tights on, etc., it actually helps. We did some bistro blinds over here just to give us some privacy. So although we are in the countryside, we do have neighbors, which is nice because that gives me a little bit of or makes me feel a little safe, when I have the children here and I'm by myself in the house. Being Indian, I have my Indian clothes I need to manage as well, so it's an amazing area to have kind of hidden away when I need those outfits for those events. An area that my husband especially likes in our wardrobe, what he actually decided to put in after we went for a trip to Zermatt and we're staying in a hotel there, was a bar. Everyone needs a bar in their wardrobe, and so as I said, on those cold winter nights, you want to have a glass of vino or that Negroni, here's your bar. Okay, so now we're going into the master bathroom. We do have a his and a her. So this is mine technically, but he ends up spending most of his time in here as well, my husband. But as you can see, it's reminiscent of the outside in. We have this amazing bird's eye tree. We have the fern here. We have, the neutrals. We have the Jessie taps, which is an Italian brand. And we have 2 shower heads as well as 2 hand levers as well. Well, whether you want to have your children in here with you, you or your partner want to shower together, the choices are endless. But you also can see that all of the bathroom is hand painted. Again, this is Benjamin Raymond who actually hand painted, some of the other areas in the house. And one interesting change that we made was that we didn't have the bathtub here. We moved the bathtub because we're not big bathers, if that's a word, or we're not big bathers, I should say. So what we prefer to do is we prefer to have our sinks here so then we can actually take advantage of the view. So it's now time to move on to some of the other bedrooms, but on the way we do have a linen closet, so an area where you can organize all your linens and towels. So now we're entering my older son's bedroom. On the left, right when you enter, you do have the bathroom as well. But this bedroom, again, when you look at the flooring, it is all stark carpets and it's all natural, so no synthetics. The way we thought about this room, and it being a country house again, all the beds on this floor are Super Kings because sometimes my younger son wants to sleep with my older son, cousins come over, so we thought just to give them all Super Kings. And also when we have an overflow of guests or family, everyone can just kind of tuck in and use whatever beds they want. And so as we talked about, and I'm not lying here, all the rooms have views. And again, here's another beautiful shot at the view from my son's room. Now further down on this floor, we do have a utility here. It's great and it's convenient for anything that happens on, the first floor. But now let's head into my son's room. So this is my younger son's room, or I should say it was his nursery, but we haven't had the time to upgrade it yet. But one interesting and special feature of this room is really the hot air balloons. The reason why this is so special is when we are actually coming to view the house and as the refurbishment was happening, is we saw hot air balloons in the distance flying. So we thought that it would be amazing to kind of incorporate them again, the outside in to his nursery. And usually on the weekends when we do come down here, we do see many of the hot air balloons flying over, and it just kind of blends very well in with the characteristics of this room. It goes back to what I was saying, the way we thought about this house, people coming to visit, friends coming to visit. We wanted to keep it quite flexible, and we wanted to ensure that we were able to maximize all of our rooms. All the bedrooms on this floor have en-suites, but the only difference is that my younger son's bedroom actually has a bathtub. So this is the final room on our first floor, and this is the guest. It's where, for us at least, the grandparents stay when they come to visit us. And we followed the same style in terms of the interiors, so that's why you see the hues of green, the neutrals. We've continued to use stark for the carpets here. This room also has an ensuite, as I mentioned before too, and it's I would think it's a comfortable place to come and stay and visit. So we have two further guest rooms shared by a landing area upstairs here. And what it essentially is, it's, from our perspective, it's a very versatile space. Currently, we have a landing area which we've kind of doubled into more of a living room with a TV, and there's an ensuite there that's being shared as well, alongside, 3 beds in those 2 rooms. And so currently we use it for single friends that come over or, nanny. But again, it can be, a girl's bedroom with using one bedroom as a closet, the landing area as her TV room, etc. So, again, the options are endless. And then we also have a separate family suite on the same floor that has a living room with a proper sofa bed and a separate bedroom, again, shared by an ensuite. Thank you so much for coming along on this tour with me. Hope you enjoyed yourself and learning more about what the English countryside has to offer. I mean, what better way of ending it with an amazing view of the South Downs National Park. Like I said, this property is for sale, so if you are interested, please see the details below this video. Thank you. Bye. See you later.
Hi, Luxury Home Show. I'm Leanne of Good Bones, and welcome to my townhouse in London.
Tell me now, tell me something, 'cause I don't know how this gonna end. Oh no.
So now we're in the entrance hall of our Victorian terraced house. It's a townhouse.